Here. Today, I wanted to talk about 3 reasons why your baby needs bodywork. And yes, I truly do believe that every single baby and mama should get at least 1 to 3 sessions of bodywork treatments. I personally love craniosacral therapy and or osteopathy, but really anything is great, whether it is massage, whether it is pediatric chiropractic adjustments. Any kind of body work is so important for babies and mamas alike. And so in this video, I want to talk a little bit about why. So one of the main reasons is body tightness. And the thing is that when babies are all scrunched up in your womb, and as they're growing bigger and bigger and there is less and less space, sometimes they find themselves really squashed against, maybe your pelvic bone or under your ribs or something like that. And sometimes they stay in those squashed positions for a long time, maybe even weeks. And what that does is when they're stuck or they're kind of squashed and they can't move around as much, they do start to develop some tightness in various muscles. This is often um, I see babies who are born with, the head preference to one side. Sometimes babies are fully in a C-shaped position. And that is often referred to as torticollis, which actually comes from the hips. And it's not just something that happens with the tongue or with the tongue. It's also associated with your tongue function, but it's not just something that happens with your neck. There's a lot of underlying reasons for something like torticollis, which technically I think means tight neck, but it's not just about the neck. Often it is starting from the hips, but it's also really associated with tongue function as well. But that I will save for another video. So body tightness is a big one. And then, of course, we have to think about, as baby is ready to be born and they do all these twists and turns and they rotate to really make their way down that birth canal. And sometimes they get stuck there too, which means that they're going to need various sort of interventions or assistance from things like forceps, vacuums, even sometimes hands, and, in emergency situations, then even a C-section. And all of that twisting and rotating and that general stuckness really can lead to a lot of straining and tightness of the muscles, but also of the fascia, which is the layer on top of the muscles. It's a very thin layer, but it's a very strong layer. It's sort of like if you've ever cooked raw chicken, it's that like white layer on top of the chicken that is so hard to cut through. It just keeps everything in. And so this is really good. The fascia is really good at doing its job of protecting everything underneath, but it's not so great at releasing on its own. And this is where that body work comes in. So this is why I especially love craniosacral therapy, because it uses such a light pressure that it actually works at the fascia layer versus a deeper pressure that you might find during massage, or which works at the muscle layer, which is even lower underneath that fascia layer. And then the pediatric chiropractor is working even underneath that muscle layer and really working with the bones and the alignment of the bones. And so you can see that if the fascia is tight and you go and you work with the muscles or you work with the bones, that fascia is still going to pull everything back into that tight spot. So you might go and get a chiropractic adjustment and it goes back within a day or two because the fascia is tight and it's pulling it back to whatever spot is the most comfortable. And that's usually where there is some body tightness. So that is one of the reasons why I love craniosacral therapy, but body work in general. The other reason is that along this sort of birth process, babies' heads have various different bones. They're called cranial bones. And those bones sort of start to overlap and they mold and they overlap so that baby's head becomes a little bit smaller so that it can fit through the birth canal. I mean, we dilate to 10 centimeters, but babies' heads need to still mold in order for them to be able to really come out properly. Otherwise, they would get stuck, which does sometimes happen if there's not the correct amount of molding or overlapping of those bones. And that is also something that really needs to be sort of helped along the way after birth, because one of the ways that those cranial bones start to sort of decompress or unmold or kind of go back to how they should be, that nice round head, is through strong sucking action that baby does on the breast or the bottle or even a pacifier or a finger. But a lot of times, babies that have body tightness or various other things going on, it could actually mean that they're not sucking strongly enough in order to allow those bones to be kind of molded back or to kind of give them space. Um, and one of the things with those bones overlapping each other, if they stay like that and they stay in a stuck position, that can also, remember, lead to so many different body tightness things because there's fascia all over the bones of the head. And that fascia literally runs from the head all the way to our toe in one kind of continuous interweaving bundle of connective tissue, basically. Um, the other thing is that there's a lot of nerves that come from the brain through the back part in our neck, and they come actually through those cranial bones. And if those bones are really kind of compressed in a way, and overlapped in a way, they may actually compress those nerves. And oftentimes that can lead to things like weak suck, constipation, digestive issues, reflux gas, and so many, just like general discomfort and fussiness. So it could be body tightness. It could also be because of those compressed nerves. And Bodywork is going to help with both of those. And then finally, the third one is kind of connected to those compressed nerves. There's one nerve in particular, which is called the vagus nerve. It is the longest nerve of the entire body, but it is really, really important in helping to regulate our nervous system. It is the nerve that is involved in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is sort of that rest and digest kind of calm nervous system. And so if there is any body tightness going on, if there's any compression of those nerves, of that nerve, it's going to be really hard for baby to kind of regulate and calm and just be in a state of sort of calm alertness. The other thing is that Bodywork in general can help babies if to calm their body and to really just kind of trigger them into that parasympathetic nervous system, trigger that to start working and to activate just from the nature of calming the body. It's a very calming touch when you get body work done for your babies. It is not like your deep tissue massage that you get for yourself where you're like, oh yeah, push harder on that one spot that really hurts. That is not what it's like for babies. Craniosacral therapy actually uses only 5 grams of pressure. And if you want to feel what that is like, it's literally if you put your finger on top of your eyelid. That is basically the pressure that craniosacral therapists and osteopaths generally use craniosacral therapy as one of their main modality with babies. That's the pressure that they're using because they're really looking to get to that fascial layer, but they're also looking to feel the craniosacral rhythm, which runs through the whole body. And so by getting that craniosacral rhythm working more efficiently, working more smoothly, that can in and of itself help baby to just relax and calm. So can you imagine if you have a baby that is just crying all the time, they're fussing, they can't seem to get comfortable at the breast, they're constantly arching and pulling away and pushing and screaming and all of the things. Craniosacral therapy or Bodywork in general could be such an amazing addition to just help your baby calm their nervous system. Even if there is no sort of outward sort of tightness that you can see or feel, the craniosacral therapy or Bodywork in general can really just help that whole nervous system just think of how calm you are after you get a massage, right? It's the same for babies. They really, really benefit from Bodywork. And so I just love being an infant craniosacral therapist. And I really recommend this for all babies. It is something that I often look at in terms of sleep difficulties, in terms of reflux, in terms of digestion, in terms of feeding difficulties also. Oftentimes, body tightness or compressed nerves are at play, and Bodywork can do wonders. So that is something that should definitely go onto your sort of baby shower list, gift certificate to get Bodywork for your baby. So anyway, I want to keep this video nice and short, but those are the 3 ways or 3 reasons why I sort of recommend bodywork for all babies. Again, I really love to have 1 to 3 sessions of bodywork as soon as you can once baby is born, but really they would benefit from it at whatever age they are. So it's never too late. That's it for me. If you want to know more about bodywork, if you are in the Hamilton or Burlington area, I am happy to chat with you about doing some bodywork for your baby, but I also have lots of other people that I can refer you to in this area as well, who are doing really fantastic work, as well as in Toronto. So bye for now, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. It is nice and warm here. Warm. It feels like spring today, and we're going to get lots of snow very soon. Okay, bye, everyone.